Hi, and welcome to this edition of Tech Clarity TV. My name's Jim Brown, the president of Tech Clarity, where we make the value of technology clear. Today I'd like to talk to you about product data management, PDM, as the foundation for growth for manufacturers. I'm going to be sharing some information from a number of research projects that I've done on engineering data management, product data management, and really trying to understand how companies can best get value from managing their product information better. I'm going to talk about three main aspects of PDM. I'm going to talk about the ability for PDM to help companies control, access, and share their critical product information. And we'll look at each one of these individually. Let's start with controlling information. One of the things that I find from companies very frequently is that they have problems with making sure they understand which is the latest revision of a product, which configuration should they be using or variation, and really just understanding, do I have the right version of this file, or in some cases, did the last save win because an engineer actually made a change and overwrote somebody else's changes. Beyond that, it's important to be able to access the information, really being able to search and find and retrieve the right information when you need it. And again, retrieve it with confidence that you know it's the right information. We see lots of companies really wasting a significant amount of time looking for information. In fact, one study I did showed that basically engineers were wasting a day a week on non-value-added data management time, searching for information that they couldn't find. It also, oftentimes we find engineers spending a lot of time finding information for others in the organization when they should be spending their time designing and innovating. And lastly, sharing. Product information is not just for engineers. That information needs to get out to those in the supply chain, those in manufacturing, to make sure that they've got the right information to do their jobs. So with that quick background on PDM and where the value comes from, I want to talk about how PDM can really serve as a foundation for future growth. PDM can give business value today, but at the same time, it really offers an opportunity for companies to grow over time and continue to get more and more business value from that platform, from that infrastructure. What we see is that a lot of times as companies embark on a, whether they call it product lifecycle management or PLM journey or PLM program, or whether it's just a data management program, we see that companies are able to mature over time and typically start with a focus on getting the data under control, managed, ability and ability to share it, as I said before. But over time, through maturity, through being able to extend that to new people, to be able to extend that beyond products into managing the projects, being able to really take advantage even further into more processes, looking at enabling more people and bringing them into the process. Companies can get greater and greater levels of business value. What we see is companies implementing product data management to gain that control, access, and share capability, but then extending it over time. And they can extend that to manage business processes and manage the new product development and R&D projects associated with the data that they're managing. And then even going further to extend out into what I call a number of dimensions of PLM expansion. And that really goes into managing further up and down the product life cycle, involving more people in the process and more. And as companies do that, what they do is they set themselves up to improve their business even more and to gain significantly more ROI from their initial investment in the infrastructure for PDM. I want to look at it a couple of ways in terms of growth. The first I want to talk about is scalability from an organizational perspective. We see that some companies may start out simple, but then over time they gain some additional complexity. Maybe they need to move to a multi-CAD environment to support some of their customers. Maybe they are going to expand geographically into new locations. Maybe they're going to actually end up with more complex products, and maybe even moving on into something like a mechatronic product where we've got a larger number of electronic and software capabilities being incorporated in the product. So it's important as you look at PDM to be able to look beyond the initial requirements and look at how you can grow organizationally. But it's also important to look at, after data is controlled, accessed, and shared with PDM, where can you go with it? And I mentioned the dimensions of PDM expansion or PLM expansion before, and you can see them here. Expanding to a richer view of the product. So for example, maybe capturing commercial information in addition to technical information. Extending to more people, for example, to bring in maybe people from compliance and bring in new processes like product compliance or maybe it's quality management. And then extending further into the life cycle, and that can be moving upstream in the life cycle or downstream in the life cycle to really handle more of the product's life, maybe getting into service management, maybe getting further into the process of innovation on the other end, in the front end, as people would call that. So there's a lot to look at with PDM. It adds value today, but also it serves as that backbone for your business to grow over time. And in order for it to do that, it needs to be able to scale, both, as I mentioned before, organizationally, but also from a functional perspective. And that may be the transition from product data management to product lifecycle management, PDM to PLM, if that's what you call it in your business. But regardless of what you call it, what you want to do is make sure that as you invest, you're putting in place an infrastructure that you get a return on investment from now, but that you're also setting yourself up for future ROIs. And my research has actually shown that it's very common actually to get even greater levels of ROI from incremental projects that leverage that infrastructure into the future. So I hope this has been valuable. I would love to continue the conversation with you on my website or my blog, and hope you tune into more editions of Tech Clarity TV. Thank you very much.